What's up, y'all? Terrell Friday here with FutureDDS.
Tyler Brown here with FutureDDS.
Now, we all know how stressful loans can be, so we're going to take you guys through how we plan on attacking them. Let's go.
If this is your first time visiting our channel, what Terrell and I basically do is we help pre-dents get into dental school as well as show the world what it's like to be a dental school student. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know whenever we release new content, as well as hit the like button to help us out with the algorithm.
Like what?
So coming into dental school, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like you see the number, you know, you're afraid of the number, but then you accept the number. And while you're starting with those, like I'll say even first 3 years, you're not really paying too much attention to it. But then when you get to fourth year and you really start seeing that random amount,
switch.
and you start getting those random emails, right? Just basically saying like your total borrowed amount or whatever it may be, things start to change a little bit. You know, you start to take a different, there's different thought process behind, you know, okay, how am I going to handle these? Am I really going to have to pay, you know, $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month, whatever it may be. And so, yeah, now that we've graduated, we had to go through, was it 2 exit?
Yeah, so it's what we call exit loan counseling. So essentially you have to do one with the school and then one with your financial aid servicer. So essentially they go through your total amount that you've taken out from the school or through that school, as well as your total amount that you've taken out through your entire schooling career. And now kind of put it all together and tell you how many, I guess, loans or semesters you've actually taken loans out for. And then they will tell you your estimated estimated monthly payments. Okay, so this estimated monthly payment is based off a bunch of different factors of, you know, how fast you want to pay off your loans, how much your total loans is, if you want to do an income-based repayment, if you want to do an aggressive pay repayment, if you plan on doing working in like a federally qualified health center. So basically these are centers where you'll pay back a certain minimum amount, and then at the end of, I believe 10 years of working in these health centers or in these, I guess, approved areas, then a portion of your loans will be forgiven. So there's a whole bunch of variables, there's a whole bunch of things that you have to take into account when we're figuring out how much we'll actually have to pay back. And we'll go through a little bit of that in this video. Okay, so actually going through that actual loan or exit counseling is kind of, how can I say this? It's relieving because you're like, wow, I finally made it to the end. And then you hit that one page where it's like your total loan amount. And once you get to that point, what? Oh my God! that's when things start to turn. And then on top of that, they also have what they call an interest calculator. Okay, so that interest calculator, granted, because it's COVID, I believe they have the interest calculator set to 0 because the principal amount isn't accruing any interest at this time. But that I'm sure will soon end. Okay, so for sure. So just think about that total number that you're seeing is not the total number at all. You have to think about how much interest you're going to be accruing every year on top of that, and then once that stacks up, that's the new principal. Look, man, if you don't know about it, Google compound interest and you'll see how quickly this can rack up. It's
insane, you know. And I remember I saw my amount and I quickly screenshotted it and sent it to my parents like, yo, this is ridiculous. You know, I really need to stay with y'all for as long as I can. You know?
As possible, as long as possible.
It's crazy. It's crazy because, you know, we worked so hard. And I mean, granted, I think as we went through school, we understood that, you know, especially us coming out, we weren't going to be rich or anything like that. But, you know, things are really, really put in perspective when you start looking at like, okay, I'm going to have to pay rent somewhere. I'm going to have to pay car insurance. I'm going to have to pay for a car note. And then on top of that, I'm going to have to pay $2,500 towards this loan. You know, this lifestyle that, you know, you might think is a little bit of luxury. Yeah. It really, you know, gets to a point where you're humbled very quickly because, you know, not everybody is having to pay this $2,500 bill every single month, but you are, you know. And so it was, like I said, really humbling, and it really just kind of woke, I think, all of us up to the fact that, like, wow, okay, we you know, got these loans, we got these refund checks, we did all this, and now, you know, it's time to pay it back. It's time to pay it back. And so I'm doing the payee. I'm doing the income-based repayment option. I think that for me right now is the best, way to go about things. I mean, what do you think?
No, I'm definitely doing the income based, only because I've heard this old adage is it says I can do more with my money than you can do with my money. So when I hear that, it's like, okay, if I'm paying back $4,000, $5,000 a month to pay down a loan so I can kind of relieve the interest, then I'm limiting what I can really do with my money. And that's not for everyone. I will say that it's not for everyone. If you're more entrepreneurial minded, if you have some other side project that you want to work on, if you have some other things that you have to allocate your money towards, then this may be the best option for you, just so you can have a lot more liquid funds. I think this is just, and I'm sure like Tyler has thought about this stuff as well, choosing this type of repayment. It just makes more sense, especially right now. I think especially with how high certain interest rates are with, having government funded loans, different things of that nature. Maybe once you refinance and you're actually, how much you'll actually be getting after maybe working that first 2 years, and you can really refinance, get a better interest rate on your money, and then actually, allocate more money towards that, because you'll be getting more money in. It won't necessarily be as much of a detriment to, say, that lifestyle that you wish you could live or you intend on living, So I think that's just the best case for me. Of course, also, one of the big things I want to do is get like a money manager, get someone to help me manage my money, outside of an accountant. An accountant is obviously doing one thing, but just someone to be a financial advisor to me and help me with different wealth management, financial advisor, different things like that, just to make sure I'm putting my money into the right things, putting my money into safe vessels, and just making sure it's going to be giving me good returns on a certain percentage of my money. Then of course other play money I can kind of move freely with if I want to spend it, if I want to reinvest it, different things like that. But that would be more so for me to play with and make those decisions with myself. But it's always important to have a game plan. I think that's the biggest thing. Obviously, we both have been on top of, just doing more research on top of that thing. So maybe Tyler has a different way of managing his bread. I know we both started Mint recently, different things like that, just to keep ourselves accountable. But I think now that so much money's coming in, it's more of a responsibility, and we honestly don't have as much time to sit down and look at every penny every single day, where we could easily pay somebody to do that for us.
Exactly. And I mean, even outside of even getting the financial advisor early, right? I think that what I'm going to do, especially for this first year, I'm literally about to save and invest 80% of my income, especially what I'm staying with my parents. I just feel like there's no point not to. And it's funny because I was thinking to myself the other day, I'm like, I could easily get into a trap where, because I have the extra money from not paying rent and things of that nature, I could easily spend that, if that makes sense. Because it's there, it's just sitting in my account. So I have to be cognizant of the fact, like, no, Tyler, you're staying with your parents for a reason, because you're trying to
hide the money from yourself.
Literally. I can easily just see myself, just like, ooh, I have this money now, what do I want to do with this? So I want to go very, very like bare bones, save, invest, AB for that first year. Just try to get my account to a certain number, as high as I can. And then I'm going to start to step back and say, okay, now what do I want to do? Do I want to pay for this CE course? Do I want to go buy this rental property? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Do I want to rent? Do I want to own? Do I want to lease a car? Do I want to buy a car? I'm just going to wait. I'm going to kind of take a deep breath and step back, only because I'm somebody who feels a lot better when I'm sitting on a pile of something, right? So like I walk around even feeling more confident when I know I have $50,000 in the bank versus, not having that. And I just want to make sure I have that. And maybe not that much money in my savings account, because you're not supposed to save that much, whatever it may be. But just, I don't know. I want to stay very black and white for this first year, very simple, very basic.
Just get to a place where you're comfortable.
Exactly.
You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about it.
I have to worry. I don't have to worry. So, that's definitely my plan.
I think now getting back to actual ways of, supplementing our income so we can actually attack the debt or attack certain loans, man. I think there's something to be said about, especially now, like we were talking about before, we don't necessarily have a lot of responsibilities outside of ourselves to necessarily worry about. So I believe that this is the time where we can take some chances and, maybe, now you have a little extra residual income. That's the time to put into real estate. Obviously, work with somebody to make sure it's a good investment, or maybe put it into more stocks, maybe put it into starting a small business, different things along the line so that we can supplement that dental income so we don't necessarily have to lean on that. I think a lot of times people get into a negative relationship with money once they have to, when they're forced to do certain things in order to get it. Like if you have to go to work and work overtime just to take care of the things that you need to take care of, then it's like, okay, you kind of have that you start to build that negative relationship with that resentment just because you may overextend yourself, different things like that. But I think this is the time where you have to kind of come with that game plan to really attack the debt and really come up with things to supplement it. Again, like even just doing the numbers, realistically, how much debt the average dental student accumulates versus the average dental salary is going to take, if you're really aggressive, probably 7 to 10 years to pay back, if you're only doing anything but dentistry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's being aggressive. So, most of these loans are 10, 15, 20, 30, even 30-year long repayment plans. So if you're on a 30-year repayment plan, anything that you can do to cut that to 20 or cut that to 10 and save yourself on that interest, like you should probably do it now before you have kids, tuitions, or if you want to get married, you want to take a trip with your significant other, like anything that you want to do it's a lot more. This is the least amount of responsibility that we'll have the money allocated to, before it even gets allocated to anything. Like make sure that we're putting it into the right vessels in order to see better returns on that money and use dentistry as a foundation or a trampoline in order to just get to higher brackets and kind of get more income coming in. So
and keep in mind, this is so subjective.
Yeah, for sure.
Trill and I, we want to do the entrepreneurial type things. We want to do the extra side hustles, the side businesses. We actually have a friend, and she said something very real. She said, I've been in school so much for so long, I don't want to have to do any of that. Mm-hmm. I want to be able just to have my one source of income and I be good. And I understand where she's coming from.
Completely respect it.
So
it makes sense.
And you can be that type person, and that's not an issue. But I think the main goal for you is to find out what type of person you are and really commit to that. If you like to do the entrepreneurial things, if you want to do the
or even if you're not, I guess, a prototypical entrepreneur, say you have a hobby. If you like to paint, if you want to invest in your painting might be what becomes your supplemental income. Or, if you like designing clothes, if you like to draw, if you like to read, like start reviewing stuff on YouTube and just use your money to buy camera equipment, like whatever it is, it doesn't have to be necessarily like starting a business or the stereotypical entrepreneur thing. So that's just like a side note or a caveat to that. But
yeah, super subjective. Just know yourself or get to learn yourself. What is it? Calculate, is your risk tolerance, right? So yeah, I mean, if you, do what you want to do. Do what you want to do, but just know yourself and make sure that your plan fits your lifestyle.
For sure. As you guys see, it is very important that we even think about these things and start having these conversations, especially with wanting to, obviously own our own home, own a practice in the future, and really, again, like develop the lifestyle that we intended on living or saw for ourselves when we decided to go into the profession and kind of aspire to have, 5-10 years down the line. So I think that all of these things are important conversations to have. Again, all of this information is very subjective depending on what you're into, what you're looking to do, and what your goals are for the next 5, 10, 20 years. I think this is a good start to the conversation. I hope you guys out there gained a lot of information or a lot of at least perspective on how to attack our loans or how we're planning on going about attacking our loans. If you guys have any tidbits for us, if you're a financial advisor out there, drop your information down in below. I'm sure, we'll reach out to you or someone will reach out to you about getting some more information.
And we also have a video. We have a video that we released probably like a month and a half ago. Go check that video out.
For anybody in school too, there's like a debt tracker that we have in the video, maybe a month ago, like I said, about a month ago. There's a link in the description. You can literally type in how much you're taking out each semester for loans, and it'll help you tally up how much your total loans would be, and help you kind of develop that game plan for attacking it once you get out. So yeah, look, invaluable experience or information. Look, stay along on the journey, because I'm sure it will be a journey going up and down and kind of figuring this whole process out over the next few years. So if you guys have any questions for us, add it down to the comments below. If you have any personal questions for us, head over to Instagram, follow us at _FutureDDS. Send us a DM there. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Outside of that, make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button, and that notification bell down there so you know whenever we post up new content. That's going to be it for this video, you guys. Thank you guys. See you guys next time.